I get asked a lot about how to sculpt and file properly with gel, so I thought I would start my Vegas nails by showing you how I sculpt out my nails using hard gel. I'm going to take the center sticker of the nail form and apply it to the back just to give it a little bit more of resilience in the paper. And then while it's curved, I hold it up to my finger with the center line centered on my actual finger, not just on the nail plate, and I close the end of the nail form. You want to keep an eye on the level of the nail form. Make sure it's not pointing up or down. And then also measure where your real sidewalls meet the nail form. We're going to relieve some of the pressure on the paper with some small cuts. So I just take some small scissors and I'm going to cut the paper at those marks where my real sidewall met the paper at a 45-degree angle away from my nail. Just a small snip is all you need, and this helps to make sure that there's not going to be any unnecessary bulk when I sculpt my nail out. So now you can see the form fits right underneath my nail, and the paper no longer is trying to get around the sides of my finger, so it's not going to impact the shape of my extension. Now that I have the nail form on, I'm going to pinch it to the length that I'm trying to create. I always leave a little bit of extra length so that I can file the shape properly. But this is really important if you're going to be creating a pointy nail. You want to pinch it to the length that you're going to create. I'm going to be using Accents X Bond. This is a brand new bonding base gel. It's a universal base coat, so it can be used under almost anything. And it is soak off, so it adds a nice flexible layer under any product I apply. I'm going to scrub this into my clean and prepped nail. And the X Bond is going to make sure that it adheres to my nail plate, which means any other gel or a product I put on top of this X Bond is also going to adhere. I love that this is a multi-purpose bonding base gel. I can use it for anything. And then I'm going to cure. So I've got my base gel on. I'm going to be using the Accents Oval 111 brush to apply my actual gel on the extension. This is my favorite brush. And I'm using Accents Enhance, which is a nice thin self-leveling gel. If you feel uncomfortable using thinner gels, we do have thicker formulations that are great for extensions. So I just put a thin layer on my nail plate and I extend it out. And the reason why I'm putting a little bit of gel on my nail plate as well as the form is I'm going to pinch this nail and I want to make sure the gel is able to hold the shape that I pinch it into. I'm paying special attention to the sides of my nail so that the corners of my real nail are perfectly covered with product and there's enough product for me to actually pinch it into a nice C curve. I'm going to flash cure this nail just until I can feel heat in the gel. Now that I've got semi-cured gel, it is hard on the surface, but it's not cured all the way through. So I can gently pinch a nice C curve into this shape. This is really going to do a great job of tucking in the corners of my natural nail and making the sidewalls look very streamlined when it comes to where the fake nail meets the real nail. I'm just using nail art tweezers. I like these because they're very gentle and I can feel exactly how hard I'm squeezing. You don't need a lot of pinching strength with gel. Now I fully cure the nail to lock in that shape. I can take off my nail form now, and you'll see I have the general length and shape I'm looking for with minimal filing. I just need to add some actual strength to the body of the nail. So I'm going to apply a wetting layer of gel. This is a wet layer of gel that I'm going to put over the entire nail. And the reason why I do this is because the bead of gel I put on to create my apex is going to nicely self-level into this wet layer. It's going to eliminate a lot of finish filing and makes for a perfectly smooth nail. So now I pick up a bigger bead, and this is going to be the bead that actually creates the body of my nail and the apex. So I just barely touch the gel and allow it to self-level into that wet layer that I've already put down. You can already see the line of light is becoming very straight on the surface. And because I'm using a self-leveling gel, this eliminates a lot of the finish filing I'm going to have to do. Now I fully cure this. And I cleanse my nail before I file it. I'm just using a gauze wipe with some nail cleanser or alcohol. You can also use that. Before I file, I need to take the sharp edges off of my nail file. So I'm just gonna use this little gritty piece on my spatula. If you have a cuticle pusher that has the same type of grip, it works excellent for taking off sharp edges on nail files before you use them. This will prevent you from getting little paper cuts on yourself or even cutting your client. So I'm gonna start filing the sidewalls first, and the sidewalls are just that parallel spot right where my natural nail meets the artificial. I just file straight up and down without flicking to really make the sidewalls perfectly straight and smooth. Now I can do the underside, and I look at the side while I'm filing to ensure that I'm blending the real nail with the artificial nail. Don't file looking at the top because you're gonna make a little notch and you're not gonna see where you're actually filing. I want it to be a straight line right out from my real sidewall out onto the artificial. Now I can file the actual free edge shape. And I'm sorry, I went off camera a little bit with this, but I'm gonna post more videos specifically on how to file nails. I'm just sawing back and forth, trying to get the shape and length to match my other finger that I've already completed on my right hand. A little bit too long still, but I like having a little bit of excess length so I can make adjustments as I go. If you make your extensions too short, it's much more difficult to fix than if you make them slightly too long. And this also ensures you get a nice even thickness at the free edge. So now I can adjust everything just to make sure that the free edge is nice and thin and the shape matches exactly to my other finger. I'm gonna go through the body of the nail now, and I'm using a 180 grit file. I'm just gently grazing the surface. Gel is super easy to file, so I don't have to work very hard. I like to file towards myself like this to make a very, very smooth nail on the surface. And you'll notice I rock it back and forth from left to right to create a nice peak in the center of the nail. This makes the free edge really nice and thin and also makes the surface of the nail perfectly smooth with a nice peak of product in the center. I can also go right around the cuticle area very gently, but since we did that wetting layer, I'm not going to have to blend any of the product into the actual natural nail at the cuticle area or the sidewalls. It does a great job of self-leveling on its own, so I don't have to concentrate very hard to get it perfectly smooth. It's a good idea to stop a little bit as you file and check to make sure you're not over-filing in one area. Now I've got a nice peak of product in the center with the sidewalls thin. And you can look at it from the reverse to see if there's any bulk. Right here I have a little bit. It's a good idea to check from the client's angle to make sure that the nail looks smooth for them as well. And then lastly, I fix the shape by turning the hand around, just to make sure the point is in the center. When you file, make the shape a little bit more tapered than what you actually want it to end up looking like after you put on color. Now, if you're very nervous about filing around the cuticle area, you can use a cone bit like this one I have here. A diamond cone is not sharp, but it has the perfect shape for blending around the cuticle area. And this is great for any level of nail technician because it is very unlikely that you're going to cut your client even if you get super close to the skin. Just this quick little pass is going to make my color application perfect. And there you have it. I'm ready for color. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you get notified about my next video. I'm going to be finishing this set of nails to show you step by step how I create all of this nail art.